And the thing is, again and again, Yogi Ramsuratkumar said, God is the only goal of life. You get married any number of times, you get any number of children, you live any kind of life, but know that unless you are connected with, you can still be connected. No matter how many times you marry, no matter what kind of life you lead. For example, cinema industry, there are fields, areas where it will be very difficult to keep up. But you should know that God is the goal of life. This connection with God somehow or the other is important. This somehow or the other is left to the individual. You cannot sit in meditation all through the day, right? The mind sometimes becomes sattvic, sometimes rajasic, and sometimes sattvic. Now in the morning time you sit in meditation, that's a sattvic time. Early morning, getting up, if possible around 3 o'clock. Bombay's day begins at 7 o'clock. 5 o'clock, very good. 5 is fairly reasonable. 5 o'clock is okay. Only thing is, if you go to bed late, you get up later. The body is used to a cycle. So many hours of sleep you have to give, that's all. So if you go to bed 9 o'clock, it's possible to get up at 5. And the early mornings hours are precious. Whatever you do then will bear enormous fruit. So try to go to bed early and get up early and put to use, because it will be very sattvic and your meditation will be highly beneficial, more concentrated and more beneficial. Anyway, I am very happy you are doing at least from 6 o'clock. So even if thoughts come, there is only one God, as he says, there is only the self. Ramana says, my Father alone exists, Yogi Ramsuratkumar says. So even the thoughts that you get during meditation, don't be disturbed that I am getting thoughts. If you know that God is the source of everything, so even the thoughts, the stray thoughts that you get are from Him. They are also coming from the source. So, and they are made up of same stuff, God stuff. We are all made up of God stuff. Everything in the creation is made up of God stuff. And the building material is God consciousness. So when even the thoughts that we get during meditation, if you think, so what? Even these thoughts are He. Even these thoughts spring from silence. And then you go to silence, leave the thoughts. The minute you think, even these thoughts are coming from the silence of the Divine, the silence of the Divine, stop there, leave the thoughts. Just hold on to the silence. You understand what I mean? Yes. When you see a beautiful rose or lotus, immediately this beauty has come from Him. It is He who gave this beauty to this lotus. It is He. If you look upon it as an object, it is His. If you look upon it as He Himself, then it becomes the beauty of the Creator. The whole creation must remind you of the Creator. That is why the creation is around. This is what Yogi Ji taught me. He said, the first time when I went to him and asked him, I want one-pointed concentration, he said, you will get it. But one thing, remember, Father alone exists. And Father is in everything. Father is everything. Father in everything. Father is everything. You understand? In everything, when you look upon an object, for example, if I think I am the body, God is within me. Otherwise, I am within this consciousness. If I am the body, the silence is within me. But the truth is, I am in the silence. I will give you an example. If there is a screen and there is a painting. Now if you look at the painting alone, the painting is on the screen. Right? The painting is on the screen. The screen can remain without painting. But the painting cannot remain without a screen. So the painting, instead of painting, you substitute yourself. And the screen is the silent awareness. Without you, the silent awareness can continue. But without it, you don't exist. So, as long as I think that I am the body, the silence is within. If I think that I am not the body, I am in him. Initially, he is in me, but then as you grow, as you evolve more and more, you will know that not only I am in him, everyone is in him, the whole cosmos is in him. So the idea is the silence, the pure consciousness within, it is generally witness consciousness. You understand? The silence is pure witness. There is nothing else actually to witness. The silence is silent because it's only one. If there are two, they will start talking. You understand? One will think of the other. Because it's only the one, there is nothing else to be aware of, it keeps silence. This silence cannot do anything. You understand? If you don't connect with God, the silence within you will be a witness. That is why when adharmic action takes place, God within doesn't do anything. He doesn't stop us. A murderer is about to murder a child. The God is within the child. The God is within the murderer. But does it stop? No. Because God within is pure consciousness, witness consciousness. But the minute you call out Rama, Krishna, Shiva, Buddha, Jesus, the minute you connect with the name and form, the same witness consciousness becomes your personal God. You are Rama, you are Krishna, you are Yogi Ramsuratkumar. So the witness is no more a witness, is a participant in your life. So your everyday life, you want to connect with God, you need the Nama chanting. That's why I'm coming to the point. Why do we need this Nama chanting? When you go in the electric train or when you drive a car, when you travel to your office or workplace, you can keep chanting. When you keep chanting, you are connecting to the divine, right? Whether your mind is in it or not, mere chanting will connect you with the highest power. So it is not only silence, it is that highest power. What does it do? It has created the whole cosmos. And it is running the whole cosmos with its infinite details. And how does it run? You see such a discipline, such beauty, such wonder. So it's a mighty power, almighty we call it. So when you chant the name, you are making that witness called the signs, the silence that you felt in your meditation becomes the Nama, the Nami. He travels with you in the electric train, he travels with you in the car, and he's listening to you, he's watching you, and he's ready to help you when you are in difficulty. So in a day we need both the impersonal silence and the personal God. Because we live an ordinary life, earning money, running a household, in a city like Bombay, you need at once an impersonal witness when you sit in deep meditation, because the mind is sattvic at that time. So when the mind is sattvic, you go into deep meditation, you meditate on silence. But after that, you get up and then you go about your activities. Then Anjaneya says Ram, 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 Ram. So you have to chant a name which appeals to you, and the name will come alive. The Nami comes alive, and the Nami becomes aware of you, your struggles, your prayers, your difficulties in life, and what you need. Because it's all-knowing, it's all-pervasive, and all-powerful. You understand? So, you don't have to stick on to one type of sadhana all the time. Depending upon the mood and the demand on you by the circumstances, you have to connect with God somehow or the other. So when you become active, there are two things to do. One is to chant the name, and the second thing is, whatever work you do, you are only an instrument. It is the silence within which has become active with you and is working through you. Like this fan is there, the minute only when the current goes, it starts moving. So the current of consciousness is awake, participating in your life. He is watching you. So whatever work you do, it is sustained by Him, it is activated by Him. So He is the real doer, you are only an instrument. So you have to do every action as an instrument in the hands of God. Because if He is not present, your breath will not be present. Your every breath is rooted in the Chaitanya within, Antaryami. The Chaitanya is pure consciousness, and every day 21,600 times your breath is going and knocking at the door, where Kailash is, where Vaikuntha is, where Arunachala is. Tiruvannamala is within you, Kailash is within you, Vaikuntha is within you. So you have to switch over, in a fraction of a second. The minute you call out to Rama or Yogi Ramsuratkumar, the witness consciousness will, the fraction of a second, become personal God. Very alert, knowing your struggles and thoughts, ready to help you. That's why when we call out the name in difficulties, there is immediate help, or guidance or protection. So He is not out there in Tiruvannamala, in Arunachala, He is right within you. So it is both are one. You are meditating upon, see, there's a snake. The snake is just lying down and then it starts to move. What is the difference? Whether the snake is just lying down or starts to move, it makes no difference, it's still a snake. So, whether it is impersonal witness God or personal God participating in your life, it is one and the same. They are not different deities. So when you can do, when the mind is sattvic, you sit in meditation on silence and you watch the thoughts. But even then with the thoughts, you can say they are also coming from the source. The minute you say, oh, they are also coming from the source, the source, it reminds you of the source. So you come back to source and leave the thoughts. This is what Yogiji taught me, which is very effective and powerful. Otherwise, you begin to say, oh, why am I getting thought? And then you say, because that happened that day, that is giving me thought. This has happened, this person is responsible, that person is responsible. This happened, that happened. You will begin to find cause outside. Instead, think that even those thoughts are coming from the source, and then leave the thoughts, try to hold on to the source. Initially it will be a little struggle, but after that you will, any thoughts, you will begin to watch them like you watch traffic on the road. So that will be possible. But the minute your body becomes restless, the mind, you cannot sit even for a fraction of a second once the restlessness comes. Have you experienced it? You have to get up immediately and go about your work. Then the same witness consciousness becomes your personal God if you call out the name. But you have to call out the name. You have to chant the name. You have to call out. Then only the impersonal will become personal. Otherwise, what does it matter? You may be dying in a very cruel way. It will be just sitting there watching. You understand what I mean? So, Nama chanting has its place in your daily life. And Nama is love, grace.